Did you ever think trimming a dead branch could turn your whole life upside down? I'm telling you, one Saturday with a chainsaw, and next thing I know, I'm painted as the enemy of Westvale Ridge. In this neighborhood, stepping on the wrong blade of grass might as well be a felony. And believe me, I found out the hard way. I'm Mark Allen. Just moved to this supposedly quiet slice of Colorado after a nasty divorce and 2 decades investigating fraud for insurance companies. I needed a fresh start, a peaceful place to breathe. So I bought this house with a yard full of old oaks, the kind of trees you brag about at backyard barbecues. Well, 3 weeks in, I spot these big dead branches hanging over my driveway. One good windstorm away from crushing my new truck. Or worse, some kid biking by. So, I did what anyone would. Rented a chainsaw, suited up, and got to work. I'm halfway through, feeling useful for the first time in months, when this woman storms out across the street like she owns the place. Clipboard swinging, neon tank top blinding me, and a stare that could peel paint.
"Stop right there! What do you think you're doing?" she shouts, pointing up at me like I'm robbing the place.
I climb down, trying to explain, just removing dead wood, not tearing up the lawn or anything. She cuts me off, shoves that clipboard in my face, tells me all landscaping requires HOA approval, accuses me of unauthorized modifications, and threatens to call the cops. Says her name's Linda Monroe, HOA president, and makes it sound like she's the sheriff, mayor, and judge rolled into one. Then she starts snapping pictures, scribbling wildly, her eyes never leave mine, like she's daring me to argue. I tell her calmly, "Show me the rule, Linda." But she just gets shriller. Rules are rules, and you'd better learn fast. I could smell the Chardonnay on her breath, and something told me she'd made a hobby out of this. Honestly, I tried to de-escalate. Packed up my gear, promised to check the bylaws. She strutted away like she'd just won a war. But I felt that old investigator itch. Something wasn't right. That night, I tore through every line of those HOA rules. Guess what? Not a word about trimming dead branches. Only a rule against cutting down entire trees. But by the next morning, there's a neon yellow envelope taped to my door. Official violation, 800 fine, 48 hours to restore the property, whatever that means. And of course, her signature at the bottom. Big as life. Now, here's where things start to get wild. I head over to see Tom Sanders, my neighbor behind me, a lawyer who's seen enough HOA nonsense for 3 lifetimes. Tom takes one look at Linda's violation and just laughs. Says it's pure bluff, no legal footing at all. But he's curious now, starts poking around, and tells me stories about families who packed up and left after a run-in with Linda and her clipboard. Apparently, this isn't her first rodeo. Feeling braver, I shoot Linda a polite email. Ask for the exact rule I supposedly broke. Her reply? Pure venom. Says I'm undermining community values, threatens more fines, and warns that resistance is futile. That same night, someone spray paints "Comply or Leave" in red across my mailbox. My security camera catches Linda's car creeping by at 2 a.m. I can't help but grin. She has no idea she just messed with a guy who investigates scams for a living. The next few days are like a bad sitcom. Linda starts mailing me fresh violations every morning. Grass too long. Trash can an inch out of place, car too close to the curb, even the color of my mailbox, which she herself vandalized. Each fine is steeper than the last. I start taking photos, videos, notes, building a file thick enough to make a judge yawn. Then Tom brings over another neighbor, Edith Brown, a 72-year-old who's been collecting dirt on Linda for years. Turns out Edith's got photos, recordings, and a whole folder of fake fines, threats, even proof Linda planted weeds in other folks' yards just to cite them.
With Tom and Edith on my side, I take everything to the state's HOA board. They're all ears when they see the evidence. Linda's never held a real election, has no board, has been collecting fees and fines for years, completely off the books. Tom calls a neighborhood meeting, invites the state inspector. We lay it all out. Photos, emails, voice recordings. Linda shows up, full of fire, screaming about troublemakers and community harmony. But when Tom drops the hammer, playing a tape of her threatening me by phone, the room turns on her. Edith reads out a list of families Linda harassed until they left. The inspector announces Linda was never legally president. All fines void. Money missing from the HOA account, now a criminal matter. Linda's face goes from red to white to pale gray. The state guy asks her to step down and wait for the police. As they start seizing her files, the whole street is watching, quiet, stunned, and honestly a little thrilled. She turns to me one last time, hisses, "You think you've won? This isn't over." And I just look at her, dead calm. And that's how trimming a branch in West Vale Ridge started a war and ended a regime. Would you have stood up or just paid the fine?